Hi everyone, I'm back. I'm Pushpa, your host of JLL Live here at Disrupt CRE in Chicago. And following on to the Disruptor segment that we just had, I'm here with Chandra Sekhar, our Director of Innovations for JLL, which is all about technology and how is that disrupting our industry. Welcome, Sekhar.
Thank you.
So tell me about the Global Innovations Group. What do you all do?
We explore the impact of the emerging technologies in commercial real estate space, and we try out the latest technologies. The way we work is we learn quick, fail fast, and with
Fail
least,
fast?
Yeah,
Is that what you said?
it is fail fast.
Yeah.
We don't want to spend too much money. We don't want to spend too much
right.
time, and
either it works or it doesn't work.
we
right?
learn cheaply. So that's what we do.
So you get to look at things, read about things in magazines, and then kind of figure out how would that apply to real estate?
True. Yeah.
That's
what
kind of
we do.
fun. So what are some examples of where you were, I understand the fail fast, and that's a good plan, by the way, right? Especially the cheap part. But what are some examples where you were able to make that transition to, now that's something that we use in real estate?
We have, when we started with search. We introduced search here.
Search? What do you mean?
Search. So when you go to Amazon, you are searching for a thing, you get results with filters on the left side where you see how many items are available in this category. So categorized results with counts. So that's something that we introduced, and we are currently using it. Apart from that,
And we're using it, like if you go to jll.com and you're looking for space for lease or space
Yes.
for sale, you're saying like now we get to use those kinds of filters.
yes,
So it makes it a lot better for people to narrow their searches down and get that better experience, just like they are with some of the consumer
Yes.
websites that they're used to. Okay, what else?
we introduced the 360 VR, drone videos, HoloLens. We built an app for HoloLens, and now we are working on big data. A couple of
You're
years
hitting
ago,
on all the buzzwords right now, too. A lot of what the disruptors are talking about here today, a lot of the topics that all of our guests have been talking about, and actually our next segment, we're going to play with exactly the things you just talked about. Drone, HoloLens, some of that, you know, the virtual reality and all that. So that just sounds like an amazing part of what anybody would want to do if they're pretty jazzed up about technology.
Right. Not only that, when you think about what we did 2 years ago, we just followed the flow of what everybody was doing. Like we went with self-service, so we explored. We
You
gave
mean in terms of data?
in terms of data, we gave option for our end users to use any tool that they like. It could be Power BI, Tableau, whatever it is. They are able to do what they are wanting to do themselves without going through any other development team. Self-service with BI, but now we have taken it a step further. What we have done is we have given the ability for users to do the data part itself without involving developers. So we are creating a self-service data platform
Okay.
where people can just drag and drop a file, and suddenly it becomes available for them to query with SQL queries or connect with Tableau or Power BI tools that can interact with the file that they dropped.
That sounds like it's cutting out a lot of steps for people and saving a lot of time.
Yes. So there is no need for a developer now. If you are an end user, you just drag and drop a file, and that immediately becomes available for you to consume with any tool of choice you have.
And what was the kind of time, like, you know, I say we're saving time, but what's an example of how long something could normally, because we're also talking about things that people do again and again and again, right? It's not like it's a one-time thing, so I'll just do it. This could be a weekly, monthly, quarterly, that kind of thing, right?
Right. For example, when we were serving our client needs, most of the needs that they have is they will try to merge our data with the data that they have, and they want to see a report. The way they do it is they bring in a file, or they will set up a process and say, yes, here is the data that we have. Now bring that data over to your end, mash up a report, and show us your data merged with ours. It was a tedious process. They have to create a project. That project needs to be approved. It has to be assigned to a developer. Developer has to work on it, and then it has to follow a production cycle.
So we're not even talking hours, we're really talking days and weeks.
Yes. Now
that people used to have to wait.
Yes.
Okay, and now?
Now it's you drag and drop a file, that data is available for you right in your self-service BI tool. You merge it with the data that you already have. Yes.
We're talking seconds.
Yeah, in seconds.
That's pretty amazing. Okay, keep going. You sold me already. with just the days and weeks to seconds, right?
Yes.
And then it's ready for them to use, and they can choose whatever tool they want to use it
Yes.
in, I guess is the question, right?
Yes.
That's pretty cool. And what difference has that made? I mean, obviously for JLL, that's saving people a lot of time.
Yes.
But what difference has like some of the other things made too?
It's basically the time and effort or having a team created for a specific work. Now there is no team at all. It's the end users itself. They can do it themselves. We have eliminated the developers. Now it's the end user's choice. They can choose the file that they want. They can change the data that they want, push it in, create a new
So really
report.
what your innovations group has done is create an on-demand self-service capability.
Yes.
Of people being able to take any kind of data, like whether it's our own in the company or it's external, and in any kind of format. And just by dropping it in this magical place, they're able to then access it and do whatever they want to do with it to make reports and make decisions based on those reports.
Yes.
That's pretty powerful stuff.
It's both the end user friendly and as well as developer friendly. If the end user is more SQL, if he is an expert in SQL, he can still do magic with it.
I gotta say, you probably made a lot of people happy with that.
True, yes.
Yeah. So what do you see as some of the next technology to have a big impact on commercial real estate, or what are you really excited about?
So far, we have not only us, everybody had been collecting data. So we have a lot of data that's available today, and we need to now utilize what we have. We need to learn how to use it. So AI is going to take
And AI is artificial
intelligence.
Okay.
So we talk about text analytics, deep learning, machine learning,
Did you say textile analytics?
text analytics.
Okay.
So natural language processing. So
Yeah.
we use all these techniques.
Is that more like the natural language, kind of like when you're typing into Google and it just figures out what, or Siri, when you talk to Siri and it just figures out?
Right.
Okay.
Like one of the companies that I just saw, they were reading the lease terms.
Right.
And they grab it, they use AI to extract the data and push it out to systems.
Yeah.
So these are the things that are going to change the way that we work. So AI is going to take a big role in what
Right.
our business is doing.
And that was Leverton, right? I mean,
Yes.
and we're using them. We have a global partnership with them for the lease abstracting, and like that makes a
Right.
really big difference in the amount of time it takes people to read leases that are hundreds of pages sometimes, right?
Right.
To get a machine to be able to do that kind of stuff.
Yes.
And they can do it in seconds, right?
Yes.
Or pretty close to it.
Yes. And we can train it.
And so where else do you see artificial intelligence or machine learning being used?
For example, we can predict what's the next biggest market. So we have the data.
Okay.
Now we can predict, or we saw like this business, these kinds of businesses exploded in the revenue. So what are the relative technologies or relative businesses
Okay.
which are going to benefit from this, and where is it going to be? So we can predict, and using the data that we have about companies, the revenues that they're making, the credibility of the companies, the amount of people.
So you're saying my crystal ball trick isn't going to work anymore?
AI is going to take over.
And what about within the workplace? What kinds of things can we see with artificial intelligence, machine learning? I mean, I don't even know what to call it. It's all the same thing, right? Like robots and all that kind of thing.
You won't see any receptionists anymore. So it's going to be replaced by
We won't see any what?
receptionists.
Reception, okay. So receptionists will be replaced, and you think we'll be, actually, we're doing that in one of our Australia offices now, right? We have
Right.
Jack and Jill and guides people and
Right.
yeah, so that's real. Do you see other areas within the workplace that will kind of start taking over?
We have sensors in buildings, and we know how the spaces are being utilized. Now we are applying science to it to know how is the space utilized, where is the crowd going to, is there a line forming up, do we need more coffee machines? So
Right.
these are things that we can easily predict and use it.
And I think one of the things, I don't mean to put words in your mouth, so tell me if I'm along the same track as you, but a lot of these things are things that people just put up with right now, and they might be frustration, right?
Yes.
But that some of these examples you're talking about could really then increase employee satisfaction, help companies retain employees
Absolutely,
longer,
yes.
right? Save costs over time of like lack of turnover, or just on and on and on, right?
Right.
So thank you for sharing with us today. Like what your group does, by the way, a lot of fun, but not only fun, but having a big impact on how we can then leverage that for ourselves and our own employees as well as our clients. So appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Thanks for
Thank
having
you.
me.